reports of local blood and guts.
What happened was true. The most bizarre and brutal series of crimes
To some breaking news out of Bibb County, a fourth arrest has been made in connection to the ongoing child sex abuse investigation involving an underground bunker.
Often on this channel we discuss the most disturbing cases. This one of course is no different, but it's worth noting the severity of the topic, especially when the state of Alabama wishes to bring the death penalty upon the perpetrators of these crimes. Immediately, murder comes to mind, as homicide is one of the few crimes in which carries such a penalty of the United States. But no, the call to put these three individuals to death is because of the cruelty they inflicted upon children, forced to live in what was described as an underground bunker, in fear, torture, and isolation. A vague tip about potential child abuse was submitted on February 4th of 2025, and led down an old dirt road off Aaron Drive near Brent in Bibb County, Alabama. A case so horrific, Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall said that in his 25 years as a prosecutor, the case out of Bibb County is the worst that he has ever seen. For over 3 years, children between the ages of 2 and 15 years old would be drugged and brought to this dungeon, and for a price, predators would be able to do whatever they desired with them. The perpetrators making upwards of $1,000 a night at times. These monsters would also involve animals and abuse them as well. These monsters also included 3 family members and 2 mothers whose children were also trapped and abused in the basement. They quite literally bred to torment the children in some of the most disgusting ways imaginable, forcing them to wear shock collars as well throughout their years in captivity. The predators arrested include Ricky Terrell, Sarah Terrell, Andreas Trejo Velasquez, Rebecca Brewer, William McElroy Chase, Timothy St. John, and Dalton Terrell. Velasquez would allegedly drug the young victims, all between the ages of 2 and 15 years old, by putting a white powder in their drinks before bringing in the clients who would pay up to $1,000 to have sex with the children. Through it all, the selected children would be tied up during the act, often to the limited furniture in the room, including a filthy mattress, a chair, and a support pole. 21-year-old William McElroy personally assaulted at least 2 of the children captive and groomed them to also engage in sexual acts with each other, and taught them varying techniques, for lack of a better term.
What was scheduled to be an Anna's Law bond hearing for 3 of the 7 suspects charged in connection to alleged child abuse and trafficking out of Bibb County ended quietly. Rebecca Brewer, Ricky Terrell, and Sarah Terrell all waived their right to bond during their first court appearance.
Velasquez would also additionally sell nude pictures of the victims, and according to a criminal complaint, implying much more of these egregious acts were recorded, and most likely sold online as well, making this entire trafficking ring strike haunting tones towards what we already know about the depths of human trafficking. And for those who don't, just understand that the sheer scale of things is enormous and dark beyond a concept of hell.
The vileness, the evil of that just went to the very core of my soul.
What investigators say happened in rural Bibb County is almost impossible to comprehend. A storm shelter, originally built as a place of safety, became the scene of unimaginable alleged abuse. 10 children, some as young as 3 years old. So far, 7 people have been arrested.
I've been in law enforcement for 33 years, and this is absolutely the most horrible thing I've ever seen when it comes to victimization of children.
Carolyn Potter works with trafficking survivors from across the country through the Well House, a recovery center in Alabama. She says the signs of trafficking are often present, just not always recognized.
We need to do a better job of educating our teachers and our counselors and our caseworker on what trauma looks like and on the signs of human trafficking, because I would wager just about anything that those children showed signs.
Authorities say the children were participating in normal activities, including attending school, yet the abuse had been taking place since around 2022.
All three Terrells charged are related to each other, though their exact connection and the nature of the relationship is still unclear, with the exception of Dalton Terrell, as he was the father of two of the captive children being tortured. The children are in the care of the state and receiving much-needed medical and psychiatric care. The exact reach and extent of the ring itself is actually unknown at this time, as the investigation still continues after an additional arrest was made recently. 26-year-old Olivia Shaylee Elam was arrested at adding another monster to the list of apprehended. Authorities believe that some connection to the Serranos gang could be at play, as much as their profits is said to be from child exploitation. Police are reportedly searching for additional victims as well as perpetrators in the ongoing investigation. And the charges currently are as follows. Olivia Shaylee Elam is charged with 5 counts of first-degree rape, 9 counts of sodomy, 9 counts of human trafficking of minors, 9 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of aggravated child abuse, and sexual torture of a child under 12. She has no significant previous criminal history. William Chase McElroy is charged with 4 counts of first-degree rape, 6 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Investigators say he admitted to inappropriate contact with a child, but no major criminal history was noted before this case. Dalton Terrell faces 5 counts of rape, 7 counts of sodomy, 6 counts of trafficking, and 4 counts of kidnapping. Investigators say he confessed to unlawful sexual activity. Rebecca Brewer is charged with first-degree rape, 8 counts of trafficking, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 3 counts of sexual torture. Ricky Terrell is charged with first-degree rape and sexual torture of a child under 12. He has prior arrests for drug use and possession. Sarah Lewis Terrell is charged with 1 count of sexual torture and 2 counts of sexual abuse under the age of 12. Timothy St. John, who has prior arrests for theft, burglary, and drug offenses, is now charged with 2 counts of rape, 4 counts of sodomy, 4 counts of trafficking, 3 counts of kidnapping, 1 count of bestiality, and 1 count of cruelty to animals. Andres Trejo Velasquez is charged with 6 counts of trafficking. He's also accused of sending explicit images and connecting victims with offenders. The Department of Homeland Security confirms HSI assisted in his arrest and adds that Trejo Velasquez is a verified member of the Serranos gang. This is a short one, but just know this case is one of many of which are ongoing and nobody may even know about. Because when you sit and think about it, it isn't just a coincidence that so many people, especially young people, children, go missing every day in the US. I've never told my kids that monsters aren't real. I don't explain in detail as to why, but all I say to them is the real monsters in the world are people because of the evil that they can do. It's unspeakable. If you like videos like this or want to see more extreme content relating to gore and other true crime, hit subscribe at the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. You can also catch my premium content uncensored, join the Discord to chat daily, and find so much more in the description. Thank you for watching. If it bleeds, it leads.
A former Bibb County teacher asked us not to identify her, but says she recognized something wasn't right with a child believed to be one of 10 victims in a Bibb County sex abuse case. It was the 2023-24 school year, and she says one of her students stood out for all the wrong reasons.
She was in my class, and she was just very delayed developmentally, and there could be billions of reasons, but now with all this coming out, it's kind of like that's probably why.
The teacher says school staff reported the child's condition more than once to school administrators.
It was multiple times. No, it never really got better.
The teacher tells me that reports are typically made directly to the school counselor, who would then contact necessary external agencies. Investigators say at least 10 children were drugged and abused in an underground bunker. Our anonymous teacher says the reports she made to school administrators did not capture the full extent of what investigators have now allegedly uncovered.
Knowing now that they were drugged and stuff, so that had a lot to do with where she is academically.
Law enforcement says this major case wasn't referred to them by DHR until February 2025.
It's maybe not shocked, just even more saddened that nothing happened back then, like, was looked into far enough for it to be stopped back then, and it's just been ongoing.
I reached out to Alabama DHR regarding these claims, and they responded saying the Alabama Department of Human Resources is bound by state confidentiality laws and cannot comment.